You know that feeling, right? When the words are all there, perfectly clear in your head, but then you go to actually speak them in English and poof, freeze frame. Your mouth just doesn't cooperate, or it feels, I don't know, super awkward. If that sounds familiar, seriously, you are so not alone.
Oh, absolutely. It's such a common hurdle for language learners. That kind of hesitation, it almost feels physical sometimes. And it stops people, stops them from joining in, sharing thoughts, even just getting the practice they need.
It's really frustrating. And honestly, that's why we want to do this deep dive. We've been looking into source material all about this specific thing, how to get over that shyness, that stuck feeling when you're speaking English.
Yeah.
So our mission today is basically to pull out the really key stuff, the practical things, to help you feel, well, more confident, like right away.
Yeah, think of it as finding a bit more courage. We're going to look at the why behind it all, and maybe more importantly, what the sources say you can actually do about it.
Okay, let's get into it. So one of the first big takeaways from the material is just how normal this feeling is. If you feel shy speaking English, you're not weird, you're not broken.
Exactly. It's not a sign you're bad at the language or anything like that.
Not at all. And the sources really stress that building confidence, totally doable. And you don't need some kind of personality transplant either.
That's such a crucial point, normalizing it. Because we tend to think, oh, it's just me, I'm just not cut out for this. But the material explains, look, this kind of shyness isn't laziness. It's not about intelligence. Fundamentally, it's fear.
Fear. Okay. Fear of what specifically? What's the brain worried about here?
Well, the sources list the usual suspects, really. Fear of messing up, making mistakes, fear of being embarrassed, feeling judged by others.
Right.
Maybe fear of not finding the right word or just not being quick enough in a conversation. It's basically your brain flipping into like protection mode, trying to keep you safe from feeling awkward or judged.
Okay, that protection mode thing. So my brain's basically yelling, stop, danger zone, stay quiet.
Pretty much, yeah. And that sets up this this internal tug of war, doesn't it? Your brain saying, shh, it's risky, but then there's you wanting to connect, wanting to actually talk to people.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that fight inside leads to the anxiety, the hesitation, the silence.
But here's the key thing the material points out. It's not permanent. You can actually retrain your brain's response.
Retrain it?
Yeah.
How? Like teach it that speaking isn't dangerous?
Sort of, yeah. It's about feeding it new thoughts, internalizing things like, okay, it's all right if I stumble a bit, or look, I'm learning here. Perfect isn't the goal. And maybe even, I can just say one small thing, doesn't have to be a whole speech. It's about making speaking feel less like this high stakes performance and more like just taking a small, safe step.
And you can really see that internal battle playing out physically, can't you? The sources list signs that are just so relatable. Like, staying silent in a meeting or class, even when you know the answer, just because you don't want to speak up.
Or pretending you didn't quite catch something to avoid responding.
Oh, totally done that. And the smile and nod, the classic avoidance tactic.
Yeah, instead of actually answering.
And the mental gymnastics.
Yep.
Going over and over a sentence in your head.
Yeah.
Trying to get the grammar perfect, and then boom, the moment's passed, the conversation moved on.
Right. And then there's the physical side, heart pounding, maybe sweaty palms, dry mouth, that panicked feeling right before you need to speak.
Yeah.
But again, the sources emphasize, these are just signs your mind's hitting the alarm button. It doesn't mean you're bad at English. And the really hopeful part is you can teach your mind to feel safer.
Okay, and a big part of that is tackling some core beliefs.
Yeah.
Right, the material talks about these 3 beliefs that keep you silent.
Yes, these are really common thought patterns that kind of trip people up. The first one, it's a biggie. I'm not good enough to speak.
Oof. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that. So what's the counter argument? How do we reframe that one?
The new thought the material suggests is, I don't need to be perfect to communicate. And it really unpacks why that's true. Reminds you, look, everyone starts somewhere, making mistakes. That's not failure. It's actually proof you're using the language, which is literally the only way you improve. You don't wait until you're good enough to speak. Speaking is how you get there.
Right. So seeing a mistake not as proof you can't do it, but as proof you're learning to do it, that's a good shift. What's belief number 2?
People will laugh or judge me.
Another classic fear. So how do we flip that script according to the source?
The reframe is, actually, people probably admire me for learning another language. The source material points out, realistically, most people are just impressed you're even trying. And think about it, native speakers, we make mistakes all the time. We trip over words, get grammar wrong. We just tend to, well, do it more confidently.
That is so true. Confidence papers over a lot of cracks. Okay, third belief. This one feels kind of insidious.
It really is. It's, I'll speak when I'm ready.
Oh boy. I think I've told myself that one about a million times. What's the source's answer to that?
Speaking is how I get ready. This is super fundamental in the material. Fluency, confidence. They don't just magically appear while you sit on the sidelines.
Right.
They develop because you speak. Through the actual act of doing it. You can't just think your way into being ready. You have to talk your way there.
Wow, okay. That changes everything. It's not about waiting for ready. It's knowing that speaking is the getting ready part. So if speaking is the way, how do we actually start?
Yeah.
Especially when it feels, terrifying. The source has some really practical steps, right?
Yeah.
Starting small.
Exactly. It's not about signing up for public speaking tomorrow. It's all about gradual steps, building comfort.
And step one, which the material really highlights, is just getting comfortable hearing your own voice in English, which makes total sense if hearing yourself speak makes you kind of want to crawl under a rock. You're going to avoid it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and lots of learners feel that way. So the sources suggest easy things you can do privately. Like, just read a paragraph out loud each day from a book, an article, whatever.
Okay.
Or record yourself talking for just a minute.
Mm-hmm.
About your day, maybe. Even if it feels weird initially, shadowing is another one, repeating after someone in an audio clip or video.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Or just reading subtitles out loud while you watch something. It all helps you get used to the sound of you speaking English.
And they add that little tip.
Yeah.
Listen back, but be kind to yourself, like you're listening to a friend learning.
Absolutely. Critical. Okay, step 2 builds on that private practice. Talk to yourself.
Okay, this one might sound a bit odd at first, but the source says it's actually a really powerful confidence builder. Simple things like planning your day out loud in English.
Yeah.
Or describing what you're eating for lunch.
Yeah, or even just giving your opinion on a show you watched. To yourself. Yeah. The material suggests even 3 to 5 minutes a day of this helps rewire things, makes speaking feel more automatic.
Moving it from head knowledge to mouth knowledge, kind of.
Exactly. Then step 3 is brilliant for those moments you panic. Prepare some go-to phrases.
Like a linguistic safety net. Yeah, the source suggests having maybe, 10 or 20 simple phrases ready for when your mind just goes blank, like, sorry, could you say that again? Or, let me think for a second.
Or even just, can I ask a quick question? And it's totally fine, the source says, to use phrases like, my English is still developing, thanks for your patience. Practicing those so they just roll off the tongue gives you something to fall back on when you feel stuck.
Okay, so get used to your voice, talk to yourself, build that safety net. Then step 4, and the material is more structured, build a 30-day speaking habit.
Yeah, this is a really gentle step-by-step plan they outline, designed to build consistency over a month. It breaks it down like days 1 to 5, focus on that reading aloud and recording.
Okay.
Days 6 to 10, move to talking to yourself, maybe even in a mirror for a couple of minutes.
Then days 11 to 15, try that shadowing technique, repeating lines from audio or video.
Days 16 to 20, maybe try talking to an app chatbot or an AI, low-stakes interaction practice.
Less pressure.
Then days 21 to 25, pick a specific scenario, ordering coffee, asking directions, whatever, and practice role-playing it.
Okay.
And the last few days, 26 to 30, are for reflecting. Maybe record yourself talking about how it went, how your comfort level feels now. And a really key part of this plan is keeping track, like a little log. And crucially, celebrating the small wins. Confidence isn't instant. You build it.
That 30-day thing sounds really doable because it ramps up so gently.
Yeah.
Okay, so once you've built that foundation, step 5 is, talking to actual humans. But again, starting safe.
Yes. Choosing who you practice with is important here. The source suggests finding kind, supportive partners. It lists places like voice chats on language exchange apps, Tandem, HelloTalk, Speaky, those kinds of things.
Or conversation tutors, maybe on italki or Cambly. People paid to be patient.
Exactly. Or finding speaking groups, places like Reddit, Discord, Facebook have groups for learners.
Even just using the voice mode on ChatGPT can simulate a conversation pretty well these days.
And the big advice here is start really small. Aim for a 5-minute chat. The goal isn't some deep philosophical discussion.
Yeah.
It's just showing up, saying something, and having it go okay.
Okay. But what about when you're in that real conversation and the nerves still kick in? The source has tips for that moment too, right?
Definitely. Because nerves will probably still happen sometimes. It suggests simple things. Pause. Take a slow breath. That really does calm the brain. Remember, it's okay to speak slowly. You don't have to race. You have the right to take your time.
That's good to remember.
Smile. It actually tricks your brain into feeling a bit better and makes you seem more approachable. Use those go-to phrases you practiced if you get stuck.
Right, the safety net.
And honestly, just be willing to laugh it off sometimes. A quick oops, or sorry, still learning, can break the tension instantly. The main message is just keep going. Every word you manage to get out is a win.
And it's cool because this advice isn't just plucked out of thin air, right? The source material actually connects it to research findings.
Yeah, it does. The science backs the stuff up. Like, studies show speaking aloud, even just to yourself, genuinely reduces language anxiety over time.
Okay.
Recording yourself, that helps with self-acceptance. Getting positive social support, like practicing with friendly peers. Big confidence booster. Even just visualizing yourself having a successful conversation can make you feel safer when you actually do it.
So the shy feelings are real, definitely. But the research and the practical steps show they are changeable. You can get more comfortable.
It's not necessarily about making the nerves vanish completely, but more about understanding them and having the tools to speak despite them.
Right. And the final thoughts in the source material really wrap it up nicely. Feeling shy doesn't mean you're failing. It actually means you care. You're invested. But you really do deserve to be heard. To join in, ask your questions. Share what you think in English. And to feel okay, even brave, doing it.
It genuinely does start with just one tiny step. Say one word today you might not have otherwise. One sentence tomorrow. And just keep repeating that small action.
And there's that lovely idea from the source that maybe the shyness doesn't disappear entirely, but it changes. It becomes something like quiet strength.
Yeah. So maybe something to leave you thinking about is this idea from the source. What if you shifted your focus away from trying to achieve language perfection and instead focused on achieving connection with the person you're talking to? How might focusing purely on that connection change how speaking English feels for you? What kind of connection are you actually looking for when you want to speak? Something to mull over.